Hey everyone, Tordug here again. Today I wanted to go over, I guess, the whole blacksmithing tree, the weapons and armor you can make from start to finish. First off, you'll need coal and you'll need iron. You can buy these from merchants. Hopefully you can find a coal mine somewhere on your map. And iron as well, which I luckily have. If you do not, you can make coal yourself at any time by burning your firewood in a hit resources and go down to tier 2. There's a charcoal kiln, and that will burn your firewood and give you coal just as good as out of the ground. It puts a bit of a strain on the firewood and tree populations, I guess, instead of using a mine, because it does burn through a fair amount, I believe. It's a bit slower than a mine. Mine you can also assign a ton of people to, I think up to 8. So you can really start pumping out good stuff. Next stop is where is it? Here it is. Foundry, which will turn all your bits into bars. You use the coal, you use your metals, you turn them into bars, and off you go. You'll notice in the storage, though, there's a heavy tool in use, which comes from the blacksmith. I've found really the only way to get the blacksmith to consistently make these is to shut off the other two things and bring it up. I don't know if you need to necessarily bring it up to 10. But otherwise it seems that they will spend the lesser amounts of metal, which are much easier to stock, on these, and they'll just continually make over the tools and the swords. So I have 2 blacksmiths for this purpose. One of them is pretty much making me tools. The other one is doing tools if it can, which it never can. As you can see, the work rate, it says 89% there for some reason. But I want this one to be making a ton of tools and some swords, which it's not making any swords, so we'll drop that down a notch. These things will help all your armed soldiers in the towers and in the barracks be much more formidable than they are otherwise, just with their fists or with crude weapons, which you can also buy from merchants. There is also the Armory, which will take your bars and some skins, as well as coal for the chest pieces. They'll make shields, which I have not seen any of my guys pick up and use for some reason. I don't know if it's just not showing it since the patch, or what is exactly happening. I have 2 barracks now. There we go. And they go as far as wearing a chest piece, a crossbow, and a weapon, which is great, but none of them have any of the shields. I don't really know where the shields are going. Maybe now they're just a trading item. I have no idea, but I'm still making them. And they do trade fairly well. These things will help your army again with the chain as well as the sword. You will be able to actually kill 2 or 3 raiders at least for every 1 soldier, like in melee. They just cut them to shreds. It's quite nice, actually. It's a much big improvement over what it was previously. Also, you get, where is it? Fletcher. When you add bars to Fletcher and upgrade it to tier 2, they will start making crossbows, which are much more higher damage, I believe. About the same range. So now I'm not making bows anymore. I've actually turned off arrows because of the fact that they have made a ridiculous amount of arrows, and they are having trouble with the same thing, the same problem. I think because it just takes wood. They ramble through this, and most of them start making these types of items, and then they don't make any crossbows because it's hard to get the bars. It seems like there's some sort of something missing in that arena. Anyhow, the forge and the armory both can be upgraded to tier 4 once you get to that point, which then you'll make, instead of the halberds, you'll be making full plate. And instead of the swords, you'll be in addition to the swords and the chest pieces, you'll be making full plate in the armory, and you'll be making heavy weapons, which is pretty much 2-handed axes, I believe it looks like. There they are. And there they are. Which makes your guys even more ridiculous, where they will just destroy raiders like you wouldn't believe in hand-to-hand combat. They already do pretty well just with the crossbows and arrows. But that's really the main crux of your defense for your men. I'm going to do another video a little later on that will have towers versus barracks and the setup of each, and the upgrade of each, and what they do, etc. But this is your armaments for those soldiers. I don't believe your regular dudes will use anything above the hide coats and clothing and shoes. Like, that's really all they ever use. They want tools to make them more efficient and baskets to make them be able to carry more. But the soldiers are the dudes that, or dudettes, I guess, that want all the weapons, the armor, etc. And I've had some pretty good fights with big amounts of raiders, and they really are quite kick-ass now that they have all this stuff coming in. Hope that helps with some setup for some new players, and I will see you guys on the next video.